Okay, let's go ahead and address the Epstein files and how I, as a moderate voter who's shown support for President Trump in the past, view things and think about things. My comments have been flooded for the last few days asking me my opinion on the Epstein files and if I still support the president. As a moderate voter, I do think that I bring a unique perspective on things. Not say that I consider myself MAGA, but I see a lot of positive attributes in people who do, and I also see a lot of positive things in the president's mandate that he was elected for. That being said, I do not believe that myself or any other single human being should be defending a single person who went to that island. A vile man, and those are vile people. There should be some arrests being made right now, as well as more protections in place for children, because that is despicable that we allowed that to take place in our world. It is my understanding, again, as a moderate voter who looks at both sides, that President Trump did not go to that island. And to be clear, I do say looks at both sides just in terms of how the media presents things, right? Because everybody has a bias and the headlines read a certain way, written by certain people for a certain reason. And I think that's what is important to look at both sides for. There's a stark difference between simply being named in the files and like knowing these people socially and having been to that island. Please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong here. Simple as I would never defend someone who went to that island. Let me go ahead and throw out two other examples, right? Carol Radswell, a Real Housewife of New York, and Caroline Stanbury, a Real Housewife of Dubai. Now, they have lives outside of the Real Housewives, obviously, but that's where I know them from. Carol Radswell married into the Radswell family. Caroline Stanbury was a former girlfriend of Prince Andrew, I believe. Obviously, we know about Prince Andrew. Also know that Caroline Stanbury didn't marry or wasn't with Prince Andrew for, quite some time. Both of these people have never been to that island and said that they knew these people, Epstein and Maxwell, socially. Obviously, having hindsight of 2020, we could say, oh my God, that's awful. I would never talk to somebody or be friends with somebody like that. But it's still a huge difference from being actively involved and being the type of person who went to that island. President Trump has gone on record saying he never went to that island. If there is proof or evidence to the contrary, then obviously my support would not be there. It would be non-existent because I would never support anybody that went to that island. If he is simply somebody who was named in the file, like Carol Radswell or Caroline Stanbury, I think that is simply a crime of being wealthy and rubbing elbows with other wealthy people at social gatherings.